Tesla is relatively strong, and we always get questions like, hey, why not show a couple of losing trades or things that didn't work out? And that's why I want to do this one for you guys. As always, it is still brought to you by Day Trade the World. That might not be in front of the screen, but yes, it is the same trade of the day brought to you by Day Trade the World. And I want to lay the groundwork here. Had a lot of ideas coming into Fed Week, thinking about short and resistance levels. And at least one thing that I was talking about in the pre-market was don't always diddle in the middle. When I threw up, I still have my 15-minute on this side here. I'll quickly just show you. You were sitting in the pre-market around 300. But I had this support drawn at the bottom, this high 95 area, and even down at 290 for another level to the downside, and then was looking at this top channel, 308 to 309, and sort of said, around that 300, I don't like to trade. Allow it to gravitate towards one of the key prices, and then work off of those levels. So that did mean I didn't like the initial long at the open because it didn't quite test low enough to give me an entry price that made sense. So unfortunately, out the bat, the direction that Tesla is going, I wasn't really looking for longs that were structured that way. So it comes down to, well, at least try to show a little bit of patience. And I was very patient with it initially, but once we got to this 305, we triple topped. I was like, okay, well, I like a pullback, and Amazon was working, doing this. Let's just short it off of the current resistance level. And of course, when I get in, it's a really tight stop. So at least I didn't double down on this or try to average in. But it was more about waiting around until we actually got to those highs. And when we broke out at 307, it started to get into that range that we're looking for. You come back, there's our 308 to 309, right in that target entry area. It does this wick top to 308 half. That's right inside that target range I'm looking for the short, consolidates, gives me the short just about or above 308. There was one push to the downside. I was able to get some out at 07s, and then it took the high. Now here's where things get a little bit dicey. I was reloading on NVIDIA. I was reloading on Amazon. As a matter of fact, Amazon was able to hold on to that one as it does continue to work. But Tesla tested all the way up to 310. It then does this move where it fails that break of the top range and comes right back in. But it consolidates, you say what you want, lunchtime, not being at your desk, that's going to be part of it. There's an opportunity cost to missing out on some of these trades. It comes right back in, fails a break, consolidates at the same level, and then gives the actual continuation short. So the only way, a lot of times you can come in, your thesis, your bias, your idea for stock is going to end up being correct. Like if you liked shorts this morning, you had to have it at good levels, or you had to not average in, or you had to make sure you adhered to your stop, so you were just going to get run over. Or you could time it right. Like lots of things had to go right for you. But what you can at least do is not hang on to it past the stop level. If you're out, hits, you've just got to be able to take it. Sometimes there's that opportunity to get back in, which does set up, and you want to make sure you can grab those to the best of your ability. But the key here for me wasn't stubborn about Tesla. Allowed it to be a small hit, relatively speaking. It should have been green because I should have got back into this bad boy. But sometimes you are just not going to be looking the initial direction of a move. And when that's the case, mitigating the loss and adhering to your principles or adhering to your stop levels is going to end up being key. That's why Tesla here is the trade of the day. Not a positive one, but certainly one that we could have gotten run over because we were looking short.
It was an interesting move overall when you consider how strong these things were last week. Tesla obviously led the way, but some of the other EV stocks specifically did give similar moves when all was said and done this morning.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about it is I did actually end up having a Lucid, which ended up working out a little bit better. And I think sometimes when you look at these names, like the one that you want to be the one, for lack of a better term, doesn't set up as well. And then it ends up being something else. Like Lucid, I was initially at a price level I liked in Lucid at about 16. I was long in front of it. When it broke that floor, the floodgates opened up and Lucid's at the low of the day now. And that's just the way the market goes. Like you don't know what the market's going to give you. You prepare for it, do the best that you can, and just make sure you try to follow your rules, right?